Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, night owls, insomniacs, and anyone who wandered in here looking for Anunnaki and just decided to stay. You are exactly where you need to be. This is Dad TV News, and I'm your anchor, John Doe. And folks, if you caught our last broadcast, welcome back. And if you didn't, don't worry. The war didn't wait for you to catch up, and neither will we. Tonight is another big one. So let's get the paperwork out of the way early. This report is based on AI research. There, said it once, moving on, because we have got a lot that just happened today. The headline first. We are now on the 13th consecutive night of American airstrikes against Iran, and tonight's update is not more of the same. Tonight's update is the same, plus a few new variables just got added to the equation. So let's compile this thing line by line. Variable 1, and it is a big one. President Trump says he is considering what he is calling a massive attack on Iran, his words bigger than ever before. Now, Dad TV News wants to be very precise here, because this is exactly the kind of thing that gets rounded up into a headline it doesn't deserve yet. This is not an order. This is not a launch. This is the president saying out loud in public that he is close to a decision and has not made it. That's it. That's the whole fact. Variable 2. And this one gets premium airtime tonight because it deserves it. For the first time since fighting resumed, the United States flew a B-1 Lancer into this conflict and used it to hit IRGC targets inside Iran. Now, for the civilians in the audience, let me geek out on you for just a second. The B-1 isn't just a plane, it's a Cold War-era supersonic long-range bomber that can haul more ordnance than almost anything else in the American arsenal. And it's flown in exactly the campaigns you'd expect: Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. When you introduce the B-1 into a fight, you are not sending a message, you are sending a payload, and the message rides along for free. This is a new tier of hardware entering a conflict that up until now have been running mostly on drones, missiles, and naval strikes. Now folks, let's talk about the thing that is actually hitting every single one of you directly in the wallet tonight. Because this is huge news, and it deserves real time, not a passing mention. Gas prices. Brent crude oil crossed $100 a barrel today. 100. Let's put that in perspective for a second, because context is everything. Before this war kicked off back in February, we were sitting comfortably under $70 a barrel, and regular gas at the pump was hovering around $3 even, maybe a little under. Depending where you live, that was the world 18 months ago. Then the war started, then it paused, then it restarted, and every single time it restarts, the number at the pump ratchets up another notch and never quite comes all the way back down. That's not a spike, folks, that's a staircase. And it's not just gas. This thing is now reaching directly into the stock market, dragging down names like Tesla and Alphabet right alongside the oil numbers today. When the war starts moving your 401k, it stops being someone else's problem on the other side of the planet and starts being everyone's problem right here tonight, whether you follow foreign policy or not. And speaking of the pump, we've got an update from our field correspondent, Robert Smith. Last time we heard from Robert, he was stuck in California watching the meter spin. Tonight, new message just came in, and I'm gonna read it exactly as sent. Still rising! It went up another 40 cents since Tuesday, and I have started screaming at this goddamn pump! People are staring. The police say we aren't a real. Thank you, Robert. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. Maybe stay home. Let's keep moving, because the retaliation map lit up in a few new places today too. The Houthis, operating out of Yemen, attacked 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. Which matters because it means the shipping disruption is no longer contained to the Strait of Hormuz. It has now got a second front, a few hundred miles away on a completely different stretch of water. On the threats front, Iran's Revolutionary Guard publicly named a British airbase a, quote, legitimate target, which is the first time the UK's own military infrastructure has been named directly like that in this stretch of the war. On the ground, Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait all reported fresh Iranian missile and drone attacks today, including a strike on Kuwait's Al Abdali border crossing with Iraq, which caused a fire. Kuwaiti officials say that fire is now contained. Bahrain, for its part, says it came under fire again. at least the second time in as many weeks. This war has never really been a two-country story, and today made that harder to ignore than usual. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, gave the clearest statement of intent we've heard from Tehran in a while, saying Iran's defense doctrine is, in his words, an eye for an eye, and directly warning any country that actively supports the American campaign that it could become a target too. That is not a subtle sentence, that is a sentence written to be quoted, and here we are, quoting it. Also today, a reported Iranian plot to target senior Israeli officials was thwarted. Details on that remain limited, and we will update you the moment more becomes public rather than filling the gap with speculation, because speculation is how half the internet makes its living, and we would rather just wait. Back home, the House of Representatives narrowly passed that $95 billion package funding this war, and I do mean narrowly. 216 votes to 214 folks. That's not a mandate. That is a coin flip that happened to land the right way up for the people counting, when Washington agrees on writing a check this size by a margin that thin. That tells you something all by itself about where the country actually stands on this, no matter what the floor speech has said. And that, night owls, is where we leave it tonight. A bomber with a new job, a barrel of oil breaking triple digits, a field correspondent negotiating with a gas pump, and a president who says he's thinking about something big and hasn't pulled the trigger yet. We'll be right here when he does, or doesn't. This has been John Doe. This has been Dad TV News. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and for the love of everything, watch that number on the pump. It's telling you more about this war than most of the politicians are. Good night.